Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man. What are we looking at? Oh, it's a Kenmore, of course. It says so right there. That's how you know I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. We see a lot of Kenmores on this channel because I am not the biggest fan of Kenmores in the world, but I'm probably, I don't know, top 5, top 3. Okay, I'm the biggest fan of Kenmores in the free world. These are awesome machines, and this is one right here. If you can find one, my goodness, this was a real early edition of the Kenmore front load 15 class. This is a 148 12400. That's where you'll see the model on these models down here instead of back on the back like a lot of newer ones. It's a 148 12400. A lot of the 148s were the side loads. This is one of the first front loads with the alloy frames. Now it's metal, lots of metal gears. It's an awesome machine. What's so good about it is that it's a simple machine. A lot of folks say that I want a simple machine. I don't need all the doodads. I don't need electronics. I don't want to say good morning Dolores and play orchestra music when I turn it on. I just want a simple machine that's not complicated. Here it is. This is probably, if you want a machine that's other than a straight stitch, it's going to zigzag for you and it even has a built-in stretch stitch. This one's very easy to operate. You can do a lot of things with it. Straight stitch, forward and back, of course. Bobbin winds on top, patch and darner. That's variable pressure on your foot. We call it the patch and darners, and I'll show you why in a minute. Drop feed. These things, the new machines, are cutting out because they're expensive to do. A drop feed that you can just drop the feeders and go. A patch and darner, we call it. A variable pressure button on top. Those are hard to come by because they're all metal and steel springs. But this one here, if you want to go front and back, stitch per inch right here. 24 is a lot. 8 is a top stitch, a longer one. You want to just do some sewing, you just step on the gas and away you go. Just a straight stitch. If you want to add width, I have a straight stitch foot on it. You want to add width, you just go like this. It'll do a zigzag. And it has an inline stretch stitch. You bring this around here and the stitch becomes a forward and back stretch stitch. See that? Cycles the forward and back. That's a stretch stitch. Okay, that was big in the 70s because everybody's wearing double knits and stuff like that. It was effective on seams. Now, you say, well, I want a machine that I can quilt with. I may even want to do some free motion quilting. How's it do like that? I would do free motion quilting here in 2 seconds without changing out anything. None of the goofy walking feet, none of the hopping feet. I'll just release the pressure on top, drop the feeders, and I'm free motion quilting. Oh boy, just like that. Anything you want to do. You want to go back to sewing? Push this button down, puts the pressure on the foot, locks it in place, put your feeders back up, rises the feeders back up, and you're back sewing. If you get a machine that's simpler than that, please tell me about it because I've been in this business for 53 years and somebody's been hiding it from me. Now, when you want to wind the bobbins, you put them up here on the top. It's got a standard all-metal bobbin winder with a rubber bobbin winder wheel. You put this on, you snap this over, you disengage the hand wheel clutch, and away you go. Run the thread around the guide over here, around the guide and back over to it. Put it up through the holes, wind the bobbin. Shuts off automatically when it's full, and away you go. And people say, well, you always say, find a 15 class front load Kenmore. Yes, I do. This is a 15 class front load Kenmore machine. And how can you tell it's a 15 class machine? I get asked that a lot because it has a 15 class bobbin case, which is what this is, an unmistakable 15 class bobbin case, an unmistakable 15 class bobbin. It's just got all the little holes, nice and white. Holds about 100 yards of thread. So when you fill out one of these and fill it up and sew to empty, you've sewn about the length of a football field. That's how that works. It loads real simple. It snaps right in. See, but how easy is it to clean and oil and maintain on my own? Because a lot of times you say, well, you know, I live 200 miles from the nearest city. And even when we had a sewing machine guy that was hard to get there, now he's gone. So I'm kind of on my own. So what do I do if it needs to be serviced? Well, what makes this so awesome, let me crank this down here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Because this is what awesome looks like right here if you want to service it yourself. It's got a 15 class set up here. Flip this up, get a little light on the subject. There we go. That's a 15 class front load. You say, well, how do I get this apart and service it? Real easy. Take the bobbin case out, snap the left holder to the left, the right holder to the right. You don't do it any other way. You don't take this to the right and this to the left. It'll screw it up. It won't work. This goes to the left. This goes to the right. You lift this out. And you just wipe it out in there with a cloth. You wipe it out. Put your oil where you need to, get your 1-drop oiler. Put your oil here on the race where the bobbin case goes in. Put the oil on it. Get your hook assembly. You always check to make sure the point of the hook is nice and sharp. I put it on jeweler's wheel and put a nice sharp point on it. If there's any scratches, you polish those out with crocus cloth, emery cloth, whatever. It's so easy to do. I'll show you how to do that in other videos. Put your needle to its highest point. This is on the left-hand side of the circle. Needle or point down, right-hand side of the circle. You tilt it back. You put that in like so. Take your retainer ring with your little bump on the bottom, the 2 little bumps pointing out, and you just lay it in like so. Snap. Left goes to right, right goes to the left. Take your bobbin case that you took out earlier. You snap it on the post. You cleaned it. You put it back together. You oiled it. It's ready to sew. All you do is take your hand wheel, turn it towards you with your thread underneath to the rear. You pick your thread up. Now you have 2 because you picked up the bottom one. You put them to the rear. Lower your presser foot, step on the gas, and what are you doing? You're sewing. Just like that. This one came in because I've been sitting a long time. I'm getting these. I'm getting them like crazy. Let's say these people bought this machine from Sears in the mid-70s. How old were they in the mid-70s when they were setting up housekeeping? How old was Grandma and Grandpa were in their 70s setting up housekeeping? They're probably in their 20s. Well, it's 50 years later, and they're in their mid to late 70s. And now all these machines are going on to either someone in the family who richly deserves them and wants to sew with an awesome machine, or they're going to an estate sale. They're going to the Goodwill. They're going to these machines are available. Right now is the hottest time to get the hottest machine. If I have this machine serviced, if this wasn't a customer's of mine, and I'm taking it back to her tomorrow, if this wasn't a customer's of mine, and I had bought it someplace like a garage sale or something, or for $50, I'd sell it for $200. Why? Because I can get it. Why wouldn't I do that? I'm going to put an hour of my time into it. I'm going to deliver it, set it up, guarantee it. I'd sell this for $200. Now, if you can find it for $50 or somewhere around there, go to my YouTube channel, maybe, or Randy, your sewing machine man. That's where you're at right now watching this, and see how to service it. This one was a matter of taking the top off. It's got 2 screws in the top, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. You take the screws out. I left them kind of loose there so it wouldn't be too big of a chore. You take my thread off here so I don't have to go through that again. Well, I'll just break it because I ain't got time to be here all day. All right, take this off. Take the one on the back off. The 2 screws that hold the top on. Gonna have one here and one here. You take these screws off, and I'll tilt it over and show you that inside here. Let me grab my magnet just for a little object lesson. Take my word for nothing. Metal, 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 chrome plated, nickel plated. What kind of plated? I don't know, but metal all the way across. Just has the absolute most awesome precision construction. Down underneath, it's got the gearbox down here, gearbox, steel gears packed with grease. It's got the replaceable motor brushes in the motor. So if you're one of these rare people who sews 10 hours a day, maybe in 10 years you might need new motor brushes. You say, okay, I'll just get new motor brushes. Here they are. There's a pair of motor brushes. What do? You take this, you unscrew this cap, slide it in, take the motor off the back, put the other one in. It's 1 bolt on the side that holds a motor on it. It's all modular. Simplest thing in the world. This is a great machine. If you want to get a good machine out there, I always tell people, if you're going to get one machine, make it this one. They go, well, you said about the other one. Yeah, because it was a front load, 15 class, Kenmore, front load, 15 class, Kenmore. If you see one somewhere and it says 148.12400, that's this one. If they want to sell it for a reasonable price and it hasn't fallen down the stairs or fallen off the daggone roof or it hasn't been in a flood, this one came from California. It's been taken pretty good care of. If you can get one that's come from Des Moines or maybe even from Columbus, Ohio, or Memphis. But if you get one from, ship it to you from deep down the Everglades, or maybe over in the bayou, be careful, because sometimes they'll get rusty. Do a close-up on them when you're looking at them online. Take that picture that they show you and zoom in on areas. Zoom in. Wow, look at that. That's clean as a whistle. Look at that sparkling chrome. You don't have to worry about it. You got a great machine. Buy it. If they can ship it to you without tearing it up, they'll come in these nice little green carrying cases, which are awesome. The carrying case is worth a great deal because it's good ABS, good strong stuff. So if you can get one of these, booking accessories for $50, $100, $200, whatever. I always say, you can always pay too much for the wrong machine. Whatever you pay for the wrong machine is too much. But the right machine, whatever you pay, is the right price because now it's yours. Problem solved. All right? Kenmore. 148-12400. An awesome, awesome little machine. Thanks.